Hi there, it's PJ here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be talking about now that you're married. What next? Now that you're married, what's the way forward for you? I'm sure by now, depending on how long you've been married, you'll realize that there's really no big deal. There's really no big deal, right? Sometimes we in the bid to get married over, assume that marriage is like heaven. Marriage is this. Marriage, we put marriage on such a high place that by the time we get to my wife is just a normal human being. My husband is a normal human being. There's really nothing so spectacular about marriage. But meanwhile, when you were cutting, it was like we hung out today. Everything looked like everything had springs on it. We were not moving on bare floor. Even your communication was like poetry. It was like poetry. Now you're married, and it's like you're facing the reality of marriage. So they say that courtship reveals the best, but marriage reveals the rest. So that best has some rest in it, and that's also something you need to prepare for as you bid on that marriage voyage. So this is very crucial. Now I want to give you 5 ways, right, to help you maximize the changes of marriage after you are married. So you need to realize that you are no longer the same after marriage. Marriage changes you automatically because you are moving in sometimes to a completely different place, to somebody you have never lived with before, and then you're meeting a new family altogether. You're joining yourself with a new family. You probably haven't had children before. You're going to have children. You have never learned how to raise children. You're going to learn how to raise children. That changes you. It changes your name. It's going to change your body. Your hormones will change alongside. Your lifestyle, dressing will change alongside. Your community will begin to change. Your family will change. You're going to have a wider range of community, wider range of people join your life together. So it's going to be a whole lot if you're not prepared. That's why some people even have postmarital depression. So because their seeming or supposed expectations aren't met the way they imagined it or the way they fantasized it, they are taken aback and they are shocked. They are jamming even weaknesses and strengths of their spouses, and they are shocked at those manifestations. So it's good that as you're getting into marriage, you realize what is it about marriage, especially for a newly married person, and how do you navigate those changes in your marriage. And I love marriage so much because, like I rightly said, it changes you altogether. And you need to know that marriage is bigger. It's bigger than each of you. It's bigger than your dreams, your personal dreams before you came together. That amalgamation is a whole lot. We need to honor it. It's sacred. It has to be honored. It has to be magnified. It has to be also treasured. And it's going to take a lot of commitment for you to make that, honor work, to make your marriage work. And that commitment will take everything to you. It changes you in a beautiful way. So adaptation to that change will cause a lot of progress, success in your union. And I hope you're willing to make that adaptation. So the first thing I would say, is one of the ways that you embrace changes in your marriage is to get a life before marriage. This one is very crucial, that you have a life. We can't overemphasize getting a life, because what will happen to you if you're blank? You're not pursuing any dreams, no visions, no skill, no life skill, no nothing. You just move into someone's home, especially as a woman, and you're moving into someone's home who works, who has a life, who is moving out every morning, has a schedule, running a program, or has a purpose and pursuing it, and you just come in and you're completely blank. You're going to feel insecure. You're going to feel abandoned. You're going to feel not protected. So you're going to come in and feel that your spouse isn't giving you any time because he's moving out his daily activity and you're just there, trying to navigate a new season of your life without knowing anything. But when you get a life, it helps your adaptation easier. So that means that, for example, even if you've not started a new work, but you're in a community where you relocated as a wife, and then you're in a new community, and you probably find a church in a new community or in a place of gathering, and then you enter a church, you just realize that I can fit in because I have skills. I have served in this capacity as an usher, I have served as the chorister and all of that, and it will be easier for you to adapt to your new environment. So you just join a department and you're flowing. But if you're blank, completely blank, you're going to you're going to be shocked at the manifestations that you see, and you're going to be depressed. Yeah, I remember when I got married and pastor had to travel for a meeting, and I was left completely alone in that house. I was gazing around the house until noticed that tears were dropping. In my mind, I'm like, am I doing it? I've never been in this kind of place alone. Initially you're like, I'm the queen of this dynasty, but after a while it dawns on you that dynasty has to live a normal life, has to embrace a normal life. So it's important for you to get a life, get a vision, get a dream, have something you're pursuing. There will be changes. There may be changes alongside those your pursuits, but at least from the beginning, there's something you are already running after, so that you both are coming back either at the end of the day to be excited to gist about how your day went. And you don't really need to get outside. It could be something you do remotely or what, but there must be a life that you have. There must be something that you're bringing to the table. There must be something that keeps your mind busy, active and busy, so that you're not redundant and you don't feel out of place. So I hope you get that. So it's important that you get a life. Then the next one is that embrace your changes. Embrace your changes, because you, like I rightly said, you moved away from here. You have to kill the nudges that makes you want to call home all the time. So you're calling to say, I'm bored, I'm this, and your parents are agitated, thinking something is wrong with you, you're not all right. So you need to embrace changes and adapt to your changes. Sometimes you're going to feel like having a me time, depending on your personality. Maybe if you're a strong melancholy, you're going to always find yourself locking yourself in your room, having a mood swing, thinking about your life. Is this what I came to do? I want my me time. I feel my time has been disrupted, all my and all that. So you need to learn to gradually embrace the change that is before you. Yes, you're going to have your me time, but adapt to your new lifestyle, adapt to your spouse's everyday life, adapt to his work schedule. Yeah, adapt. That's very crucial. Don't be too quick to report. Don't be too quick to share things are not going well, I feel a little bit insecure and all of that. And you're going to notice that you're going to be meeting a lot of weaknesses and strengths, because like I rightly said, courtship reveals the best. So in the marriage now, there is the rest. That rest comprises weaknesses. It then comprises familiarity, because you're now not caring so much as you used to care. You're now finding that this person has weaknesses. For example, that's when you're going to find that he uses a towel and dumps it in the middle of the bed, or different kinds of weaknesses. So you have to be careful, to depend on your personality, to not overstretch what is normal, right? Don't overstretch what is normal. Embrace the changes that you have. Look forward to the strengths, but let the weaknesses not deter you. Remember that if you married well, you realize that you and your spouse is different. So most likely you'll complement each other. So where he's strong is where you're weak, and vice versa. So knowing that will help you to know, okay, this is what I've come to do in his life, and I embrace it as we navigate the journey. One of the things that will help you is to communicate often, communicate how you feel, communicate what you're noticing, communicate your culture shock, your surprises, so that your partner knows that. And the third thing you need to learn is prepare to serve each other. Prepare to serve each other. You need to know that service is a pathway to greatness. Crucial, beautiful. So you want to be great. You want your marriage to be great. To be great, service is a pathway. So you are going to ask, how can I serve you? So instead of you complaining, oh, your weaknesses are overwhelming, I didn't even expect this, I didn't expect that you you like this in this manner. I'm meeting a lot of things that are shocking. Your culture is shocking. This is shocking. No, you're going to ask, how may I serve you? How do I become the great one? Imagine in marriage where both parties, the both of you are always asking each other, how do I serve you today? In what ways do I serve you today? You're going to have marriage on heaven on earth marriage just immediately, because you're learning to reposition your mind. Naturally we are very selfish people, and because of selfishness we want to be very dominant. So what does it mean to serve? It means that I'm putting my strength under control. I want to put my dominance under control. I want to put this thing that makes me want to be served, want to cross my legs on the table and be served, under control. And then I'm pouring it down to serve you, to serve. So I'm being there for you, to help you when you're back from work, to help you, to serve you food and all of that. And then I remember that the Bible said in Ephesians chapter 5 verse 21, that the Bible says submit to one another. Before the Bible even started talking about wives submit to your husband, husbands love your wives, and Christ loved the church, first of all said submit to one another. In my own words, I would say the Bible was saying serve one another. Bring your dominance under control, bring your strength under control, so that we have a beautiful union. And of course, I'm not even underplaying the roles like that we should have in marriage, but I'm saying that firstly, before we even want to magnify the roles, is that we come in with an attitude of service. We come in with a perception of service. We come in with a mindset to serve. When you're coming in there, it would be easier for you, and it's going to be sacrificial, no doubt, but take it one day at a time. Because it conflicts with flesh, it conflicts with what we believe in, it conflicts with the mindset we have on dominance and I'm the one in charge, and all of that. And most times if you see marriage, you realize that one is trying to dominate the other, but that's not the biblical model for marriage. So there was a mutual submission. I can bring my ideas under control, your ideas can rule the game, depending on different levels of expertise that we have. If I realize that my wife is an expert in this area in medicine, I submit my understanding of how to take care of my life and my body under her leadership, right? And vice versa. So we are here to serve each other. I'm here to serve you, and you're here to serve me. So that's the best way to meet the needs of one another, is through service, right? So the fourth one is, I would always advise this one: go for postmarital schools. Now this is very important, because a lot of people think that you're just going to know marriage and navigations of marriage just like that. No, it doesn't come by osmosis. Anything that you have to be intentional and proactive about it before you gain the knowledge. If you want to know a thing, you have to be intentional and you have to be proactive. So you can't assume that because you attend church, that's why you know anything about marriage. No, that's not enough. So I would advise that it's good that you went through premarital, but I would advise that after a little while, you both can enroll, into a postmarital school. It can be virtual, it can be a short 3-day course, it can be a 1-day course, it can be a convention, but propose to constant and continuous learning. Let it be the lifestyle of your union. You're going to realize that as you go for learnings, you're renewing your vows. Your vow is fresh before your eyes. Your commitment is fresh before your eyes. And the lubrication, the juice of your marriage, the excitement of your marriage is maintained. Because what we find is that as the marriage goes on, it begins to wane, excitement begins to wane. We get familiar with each other, we begin to take each other for granted. You usually rush out to meet your spouse and give a kiss at the door, when he's coming back. But all of a sudden that's gone, because a lot of changes are also happening to you and to your body. And you're getting used to the fact that he goes and comes every day. So it's not now a big deal to you. But what training does for you is that it renews your excitement. It brings to bear what you're doing, the commitment of what you're doing, the sacredness of what you're doing, that it helps you to be intentional about improving your marriage and working for its growth. So I would advise that you always go for postmarital schools and factor it into your bucket list or your yearly budget, that there is a postmarital. This is crucial. I can't overemphasize this. And pay if you have to, because the problem we have is that you realize that counselors are improving themselves, going for trainings, and those trainings don't cost a thing, right? They cost so much for for counselors. So you don't just go there and say, give me free training. Free trainings are good, but free trainings don't give the deep things. So someone can have a free training and just discusses the peripherals. But there's something about payment. To you itself that is paying. What it does is that you take it seriously. You take whatever you're doing seriously because you're paid for it. The only reason why I keep showing up at the gym, right, is because I pay. If I don't pay, you're not going to see me there, no matter how much I make that commitment. So your money is what drives you to pursue it. Because remember, your flesh naturally doesn't want to be trained. So I would advise you that you go for training so that you learn things about communication, learn about finances, learn about so many things that help you, childbearing, parenting, and all that will help your marriage. There are so many facets, right? So if you need any form of postmarital training, you can hit me up on my email and we'll talk about that. And then the next one is build companionship. Now that you're married, focus on building companionship. And I want to warn you, build that companionship technology free. Because back in the years, we used to have our parents in the room and it's just the both of them. But now in 21st century, in our Gen Z world, we are now realizing that even though physically speaking, there are just two people in a room, but there are billions of people there. Because while we are communicating with each other, trying to know each other, we have billions of people we are replying messages to, we are watching the comments, 1,000 and something comments, and all of that. So there are interactions going in that room that we don't have full focus, and full attention given to our spouses. And I must tell you that if you don't have an hour at least, full 1 hour in 24 hours, given to building companionship with your spouse, you're busier than you should be. Just like in your walk with God. If you can't give God an hour daily in your walk with God out of 24 hours because you're too busy, then you're busier than God wants you to be. So if you don't want to be busier than your marriage requires you to be, I think you need to be intentional about building companionship, be intentional about building affection towards each other. And there are really very simple things that help you to build affection, like a smile. These are things that help you build affection and companionship. Like you put on a smile, eye contact, holding of hands, catching a kiss here and there, public display of affection, and all of that. And you're getting to know your spouse. You're asking really deep questions. You're building personal intimacy. You're sharing your personal information. You're sharing different levels of information to your spouse. You're getting to know each other. You're asking all the questions you haven't been able to ask. You're thinking about your visions and your dreams. You're building these things together. Powerful. You need to be your spouse's best friend. And you're not going to do it forcefully. You're not going to do it by coming into his life or her life and chasing away all the friends there because you want to be the one in front. No, it's built, it's cultivated. It's not by default, it's cultivated. So you're going to be intentional by engaging yourself to be part of that person's life, like literally being this person's friend. For example, for me, that my husband is a pastor, one of the ways I build companionship with him is that I get to know his work and I'm part of that work. So I cannot alienate myself from what my husband does. So that's also that. So you don't alienate yourself. Don't say, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't do anything about law. I don't know. You can get to know certain things about law so that you can have a cordial communication and you're not lost when that communication happens. So build companionship, be friends, go places together, catch trips together. It doesn't have to be so expensive, but initiate something that really helps you. Thank you very much. I'll give you a bonus. Yeah, I'm going to give you a bonus. Do you know what that bonus is? That bonus is that your feelings may be wrong. Yes, this one is very crucial because that's what helps you to handle conflict management in your marriage, in your new marriage. So as you begin to relate to each other and build companionship, there's going to be clash of interest, clash of personality, conflicts will come in. So what do? You should know that your feelings may be wrong. So when you're thinking he hates me, she doesn't like me, she disrespects me, your feelings may be wrong. It may be that we are not able to communicate our desires effectively. You need to know that effective communication is quite important in marriage. So sometimes we are not heard. You're talking, but you're not heard. So that's the problem with it. You need to be heard with the same intention that you said it. So your feelings may be wrong. So don't assume anything in the early stage of the marriage. Ask a lot of questions. Simplify your communication. Simplify your words. If you speak same dialect, it will be important that you communicate in your dialect. Some words are lost in English because it's not our mother tongue. So communicate intentionally and deeply in your dialect. However, if you don't speak same dialect, you may need to simplify your grammar to the point that the person understands both by your gesture and your tone what exactly you are saying. Thank you so much. Remember, it's your girl PJ, and of course I want to know your thoughts in the comment section so that we can roll. See you same time, same place.